What is up, you beautiful bastards? Welcome to the Circle of Geekdom podcast vidcast thing. I'm Chris.
I'm Sean.
Let's talk about some geeky shit. Like,
Let's.
yeah, like for sure, you can't see us this time
That's right. We're
because I'm being self-conscious right now.
we're quarantine beautiful, but we're not broadcast beautiful.
Like, I don't know what you are a beautiful man, sir. Like, I'm the one who's got like a fucking Rudolph nose right now. Yeah.
It's all right.
Now I'm more than willing to say it. Like, no, I was being self-conscious. I turned on that camera and I have a zit on my nose that I picked at, and I've seen enough stuff to say, like, if you ever have any sort of like pimples, you don't touch it. You just let it do its course. It'll go away on its own. Don't fuck with it. And I think, like, I'm smarter than other people. I can pick at it and it'll look fine. No.
I have never followed those things. I'm always like, let me get in there, let me get like a needle.
Oh god.
I'm the worst with that.
It just seems faster. It really does. Like, let's just irritate the thing instead of just letting it. Yeah, I'm just dumb. So yeah, for the sake of self consciousness of me just not looking at the camera, just trying to cover my nose the entire time, we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna do this old school style. We're gonna do this like the way we started, like just audio,
That's right.
like analog YouTube right now.
That's how we do things here in the cog.
It is how we do things here. Actually, that just kind of me into my first real topic here. You're about to get a Switch tomorrow.
I am.
Yeah.
I am stupid excited. I'm really bummed out because like the last time we did the podcast, vidcast, whatever, you were like, and I was like, oh, so I definitely should not get this game. And at that point, Switches were still available in
Easily.
stores.
Yeah.
Yeah. And instead, I had to overpay for one on Amazon, and yeah, not as happy about that. But I got the Switch coming in tomorrow.
Yep.
Based off, I think was it Macaroni? Somebody else on your stream, maybe it was Rat Pack, one of the two. They were saying, another micro SD card for storage because I'm not gonna buy physical copies of games. I don't need game
Wow.
boxes sitting anywhere. So I picked up a 400 gig micro SD card to slap into the Switch when I get it.
That's awesome.
So all I need, really the only other thing I need is I just need to set it up, download Animal Crossing,
Mm-hmm.
and then yeah, later on get a capture card
Yep.
and so I can stream it because it looks. You were explaining it, and then I'm like, okay. And then I watched some people, like I've seen you streaming it. I've seen the Lego streamer that I follow a lot, Brickin' Nick. I'll give him a shout out because he's super cool. I've seen him playing it, and I'm like, damn it, this game looks so chill. Like I could just sit at home during this whole process and just like, what are you doing? I'm gonna go harvest my fruit trees. Gonna go catch some butterflies. Gonna go dig some holes. Visit random people's islands. And I was like, crap. This looks really cool.
Yeah.
So yeah.
And the only reason I ended up picking it up because that came out the same day as Doom Eternal, and like all the people who I play Final Fantasy 14 with are taking a break right now, or they're playing less so they can play Animal Crossing. And I was like, you guys are out of your fucking mind. It's Doom Eternal. Oh my god, it's gonna be so good, and it is. It's really good. But I think I put it up on my Twitter feed that like I've played like 3 hours of Doom and it's great, but by that point, at the same period of time, I put in 10 hours of Animal Crossing. And
Yes.
yeah, like I've played Animal Crossing before on the 3DS. It was like New Leaf, and then they went mobile, and I tried that one for like 30 seconds. And I was like, this is boring as fucking shit. Like it's exactly what you said. It's just shaking trees. It is planting stuff. And I've tried with games like Stardew Valley and even like the crafting systems in Final Fantasy 14, and it's just like I'll be in a mood to do it for like 4 minutes and then I'm done. But for some reason, Animal Crossing New Horizons, I just can't stop playing it.
Yeah. Every time I've watched somebody play it, I'm like, damn,
Mhm.
I want to play this game.
Yeah, it is. It is the warm glass of milk that I think we all need right now. Of just everyone, just be cool. We'll get through this. It'll be fine. It'll be
That,
fine.
and I've already gotten the okay from the missus to use it as our iPlay in the background while she falls asleep because I've pretty much beaten every decent escape the room game that's available on iOS.
What do you mean escape the room games? Like
Well,
Five
you like the
Nights?
escape? No, I don't know. I've never played Five Nights at Freddy's. Like so, Escape the Room. Like if you go to like an Escape the Room place, they make
Mhm.
games that are that where it's like 50, 100, whatever X amount of levels,
Oh.
and you just do that. And I've played a lot of them. I've probably I've played over 100 Escape the Room games, and in doing all those, I think I've escaped over 5,000 rooms. I have gotten very, very good at escape the room games.
Are they point and clicks? Is it still like solving puzzles and stuff, or?
Well, so you're tapping it, so it's usually I have learned it's usually a simple, rudimentary process. So like if we were taking like my office as an example, so I've got like the four walls or whatever. I have like one wall with my wife's stuff. The wall behind me is where my desk and my stuff is, and then we have like the Peloton. So like you're locked in the room, right?
Mhm.
So it's like okay, on my desk there is like the hot dog guy stuffed animal, and he's sitting there, and you can pick him up, and then you can find the scissors on like my wife's desk, and the scissors you have to cut open the hot dog guy to get like a poker chip out that would line up with another poker chip somewhere that would then give you the color combination for like the light panel, which then projects numbers onto the ceiling, which would be like my pin code for my computer, which then gives you some other clue for like my dry erase board, which turns on like a black light, which then tells you to look in the ceiling light, which then a key falls down. That's how you get out of the room.
The fuck?
Yeah, when all this is over, if all this ends by my birthday, I want to try and get some people to go do an escape the room because we have an escape the room place here in town with
Mhm.
me, and we did a Sherlock Holmes one as a group, and it was I loved it. It was amaze balls awesome for me, but that's my jam right there. So
And I've done a
yeah,
few escape rooms. I did one is like a team building event back when I worked at Amazon, and it was cool. It had multiple rooms to it, and it had kind of a neat theme. And I visited friends up here in Dallas once, and they really, really want to do one too. And we did two. We did a James Bond one, which was really cool because it had like a alarm system that you had to
yeah,
like solve a puzzle for first, and it had like a secret. Like it looked like it was just like a bar, but then you solved a couple puzzles, and then that bar opened up into a secondary room, and then you have to solve other puzzles to get to the laser one. Which that
that's
was
literally what the ones on the iPad are.
yeah.
It's same.
Um,
There are puzzle games like those are really good. Like Broken Sword is the best one of those.
okay. Um,
There's another one I played recently. Siberia. That's the one
I
we were talking about a while
yeah.
back on the podcast.
Yep, and I have that on Steam too that I've been meaning to finish.
It is slow as shit, but it is actually surprisingly good.
It's compelling. It really
The
is.
sequel, the sequel is really good because the first one you don't realize you're not going to get like the end of the story. You think you're going to get the whole story, but you don't.
No, there's like
So
three of them.
there's three, but the third one isn't in the same generalized timeline as the other two.
Wow.
So
Okay.
it's one and two, and then three actually takes place in the past.
Oh,
I
okay.
have not played three though.
Gotcha. You can play three on your Switch. Yeah, Siberia.
Can I really?
Yeah, all three Siberias are on the Switch.
That's cool. I'll
The
have to play
look
Siberia
on your
3.
face of that is like just
Yeah,
like finding out like it's Christmas, sir.
pretty much. Yeah,
Yeah.
I love that game. The art style was so cool.
Yeah, like all that clockwork toy shit. Yeah, it was cool. Now, have you ever done like a bad escape the room?
No, because I've just done one. Well, I've done plenty of bad escape the room games where I've uninstalled it after like three floors. Because I usually give it because it's usually like under the vein of like one of X, and after like five or so, yeah.
Uh, I've done one bad in real life one, and the theme of it I just remember was like Dr. Pepper is like, what's the 23rd ingredient in Dr. Pepper? Which is like, what, fucking love? I don't give a shit. But you can tell it's a bad escape room because they give you a walkie instead of having like a PA system to kind of get to walk you through the clues and stuff. But it was, I knew it was bad because as soon as you walk into a new room, the walkie will go off and it wouldn't give you like a hint to like or part of the story to kind of give you the hint naturally. It would just be like, all right, guys, so this puzzle's kind of weird and like Steve from maintenance hasn't fixed it yet, so you need like just go over here to like the left bookcase and look for something there. I was like, what?
That makes no sense.
Yeah, they would just tell you the thing instead of like
Jesus Christ.
yeah, it was awful. And then you would kind of expect like the last big puzzle that you have to solve to get like the to solve the story would be like this grand epic thing. And I still remember it was almost like a Foot Locker. And you opened up and it just had like on a post-it note like the 23rd ingredient, which was just like corn syrup. It's like and then you hear the walkie like, congratulations, you solved the Dr. Pepper puzzle. Escape the room. You can now leave. It's like, fuck you.
Yeah, there are plenty of bad ones like that. I've played quite a few that are like that, and you're just like, what did I just do with my time?
Wasted.
You know. But yeah, some of them are really good. There was one that I found. It had I think 13 different sets, and each one had 50 rooms in it. So
Oh wow.
it was pretty cool. Yeah, it was really cool to be like, I just did like 600, rooms.
Damn.
So that one took a while, but yeah, that yeah, Animal Crossing will now take the place of that on my nighttime hangout
Yeah, and
chill
now's
stuff.
actually is a good time to play too because they just did a patch update too because right now they're doing the whole Easter thing and so you're finding like Easter eggs all over the place. But the
Oh yeah, I
really
saw people keep fishing and like all they get is eggs. I was like,
yeah
that's weird.
they fixed that too because like even when I was streaming too, it's like what the fuck? Why is this? Oh my god! Like I was really expecting there to be like one recipe like oh do you want the Easter bunny to just kind of fuck around in your island or something like that? Then you need to collect 1,000 of each. And I was kind of thinking it was gonna be something like that, and it was just no, it was just a technical like issue with it. Um,
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
it is so shockingly good.
My only experience with the Twitch thus far is that when I was still teaching, I the last year that I was teaching, I came in to do like lunch duty, so just like watching the kids make sure they don't murder each other in like the cafeteria in the morning.
Mm.
Um, One of my former students, who was in 8th grade at the time, he was playing Mario Kart, and he's like running his mouth. He's like, "Oh, Mr. Springfield, I bet I could take you." Da, da, da. And I was like, "What are you playing?" He's like, "Oh, Mario Kart on the Switch." And I was like, "Okay, yeah, sure, I'll play you, kid." And I was like, I had never played a Switch before, but I've played a lot of Mario Kart on Super Nintendo and 64, and then not as much on GameCube. So I
Yeah.
kicked the shit out of this kid. I almost lapped him, and he was like, "That's ridiculous."
Yeah.
And I was like, "Come on, kid. You should know better than that. You spent an entire year with me. You should know better."
Oh my god. What was gonna say? So when I was all right, this is actually starting to happen a little more now at my current job. So I've been there now for a little under 6 months, and people like if you walk into my office, the first thing you'll see is gonna be a row of chocobos like right above my desk, and above that's
People
a
are like, "Yo,
light.
he's the chicken guy."
Yes, that comes up a lot. Is that, or they think that my favorite animal's like a duck or a chicken or something like that. I was like, no, 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 it's chocobos. Like, what's a chocobo? I was like, well, sit down and let me tell you a tale of ostrich bird things that you ride in a fictional series, 15 installments. None of them are connected, with some exceptions, and we'll get into that later on. So then I just have a notepad. Like, there's a quiz.
Chris is like, "Just sit right there when you hear a tale, it's so great and true."
Exactly. And by the end of it, it's like, I just came to get something signed. It's like, it ain't happening now. Now I have to start all over again. So let me tell you a tale.
Yeah, I am the I'm the Lego racing guy because when you come into my office, if you look to the immediate left, on top of my big ass wood filing cabinet for all my contract paperwork stuff, is my lineup of 9 Lego race cars.
Nice.
So yeah, I am that guy, faux show.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's like, especially when you start like a new job too, you kind of think like, there's a party that says like, this is a good chance to kind of reinvent myself just a little bit. And I have never been able to successfully do that. Like I've heard stories of people who can like go in and be like, it's a new me now. I'm gonna be more professional for it. And for me, it's like after like month 1, I'm like dropping F-bombs and like, all right. And then just kind of talk about how much I hated Rise of Skywalker. And it's like, yeah, that's about right. Like nobody know. Like people now know. Don't come talk to Chris about sport because he's not gonna know what's going on.
Yep.
So
Yep. That's what I'm here for.
Yep.
I'm the sport component of this podcast.
Right. Like I got an email today that my copy of Final Fantasy VII Remake is going to be delivered tomorrow, which I'm really excited for because that means I get to play the game 2 days early before launch. I can't stream it until Friday. But just the fact that like it's coming in early is to me so insanely exciting. And
How great would it be if when it shows up and everything. Like you put in the disc and like it loads up and everything, and it's like da 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 da. Oh, here's whatever Midgard, and then all of a sudden it's like remix.
Just somewhere in the back.
So
I would gladly just like I will break Street Day streaming and just make sure people can see that over and over again.
it just starts playing like Party Rock Anthem instead of like the main theme.
Yeah.
What is that only for PlayStation 4?
For right now, yeah, it's supposed to be exclusive for a little while, and then at some point it might be coming out for Xbox and PC, which fine.
Yeah, I'll buy a Switch for Animal Crossing and some of the other various games, especially as my daughter gets older. I'm not buying a PlayStation 4.
At this point, because the PS5 is going to be due out. It was supposed to be, I think, towards the end of this year or next, but like with everything kind of going on in the world, who knows? But
Nah, I'm not chomping at the bit to have one game console that I actually, because I don't even use my Xbox right now.
I don't either. Like I used it yesterday to watch a Blu-ray, and that's actually the first time the first time I've turned on my Xbox period in months, and second, it was to watch a fucking movie because like I looked at it, I actually don't have any physical games for my Xbox One anymore, like zilch.
I don't know that I have very many, if any at all, either. I've got my just basic stuff, and trying to think I don't know the last time I played a game on it. There was an app that it was I turned it on to initially do something with watching Lego Masters because I thought I had like a Fox app that worked better on there or something. I can't remember.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I do pretty much all my gaming on the PC now because that's where Apex is, and that's where I can stream from. But
Yeah.
having Animal Crossing will be super cool now because now I can play that in bed, and then it uses the same charger as the iPad Pro, which we have, and I have one right next to me on the bed, so I can just charge it while I'm laying there in bed.
The iPad Pro uses a USB-C.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, I don't know. I thought they were still sticking with that Lightning cable shit.
Nope.
Oh wow, look at that.
The iPad Pro at least doesn't. The iPad Pro uses USB-C.
Yeah. Oh, welcome to what Android users have been using for like the last 5 years. Yay!
Yeah. Yeah, I'm excited.
Yeah, it's gonna be exciting. Like I can't even really explain sometimes. Like I remember playing Animal Crossing, like I think it was either this last stream or on Saturday or Sunday. No, it was definitely Sunday. It was Saturday. I had every intention of playing the game for like maybe an hour, and I was just gonna log in. I was gonna do a couple things and then kind of log out. I ended up fucking playing for like 4 or 5 hours.
6 hours later.
Yeah, because it's like I'm almost there where I can sell, or I can clear up my debt and get the extra room for my house, and then, like right now I have like I'm waiting for like the turnip stock market to turn just enough so that way I can sell my 140 turnips and then use that
Isn't
money
it,
to buy
the stalk market or something? Isn't that what it's called?
the stock market. So that way I can use that money then to clear out the debt, my current mortgage, so then they can do the next expansion, which is going to be another room in the house. So that way I can have a kitchen, too.
All I saw like that I really wanted so far from like watching someone else's stream is I saw the old school looking typewriter you could get.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, that's super cool.
Yeah. I have the electric guitar, and I put it in a quarter just like I do in real life, and just kind of pretend that one day I'll learn to play. Like this time is going to be different. This time is going to be for realsies. I'm practicing for an hour a day as soon as I get home from work after dinner, and then I just know it's never going to fucking happen. Because that's how I roll now. Oh, good stuff. But yeah, it's cool. The one thing I thought I was kind of disappointed in this was like the game started getting like review bombed too, like on Metacritic, like from players.
What happened?
So there's like I think two concerns. One I can kind of get like, oh, let's see, that's kind of legit. The other one is like, all right, let's kind of tone it down a bit. The legit one I think is you can only have one island per Switch. So like if you were to like the cartridge itself, like you can't have like multiple different accounts, and therefore like if you were to play and then Danielle were to play, you can't have. There's no way to have two different islands on the same Switch. Each person needs to have their own individual copy of the game and console.
Oh wow!
Yeah, because I looked at it. There's no way to change which I may have to research that, or if somebody's can let me know in comments below if I'm right about this or not. But I would assume if you change the account, like the profile, to another person, you'd just be able to just start over again with that one. But apparently not.
Huh. I hadn't seen anything. The only thing I know of from things that like I know has been like whoa, hey now. It's like if people choose to time travel or not, which I was like, oh, that's a thing you can do in the game, and then I was like, oh no, it's where you set your console's clock differently to cheat the system, basically.
Yeah, well, that's the thing that's been going on for a while. Yeah, let's see. Eight players can live together using eight playable accounts on.
So, but
Yeah,
I don't think Daniela will have her own island. I mean, I don't think that really affects me per se, because I'm gonna let her and Adeline make a bunch of decisions on the island as well, just to give them some input, because they'll be happy about that.
yeah. You cannot have multiple islands. Yeah, up to eight players can be on a single island. This is doubled for at least four-player limit. And things, however, told IGN that you can make up to eight playable accounts on one Nintendo Switch and live on the same island. You cannot have multiple islands, however.
That is a
Yeah,
bit wonky.
yeah. That's a little, yeah, that's a little crappy. So maybe it's just one per cartridge then. Um, yeah, so that's one of them, and I think the other concern that people were having too was that you can't, or like the actual size of the island itself is fairly small. So, um,
Mm.
so in terms of like real estate you can play with, it's gonna feel a little more limited. But I haven't gotten to this point in the game yet, but there's gonna be a section where, or a progress point where you can actually start adjusting like the landscape of the island itself. So you can like create new rivers, you can make waterfalls, you can rebuild like expand land itself.
That would be my thing. Is I mean, but that's a lot of city builder type games, especially like the iPad type ones. They have some sort of mechanic where your sandbox gets bigger as you progress in the game.
Yeah, so that could be part of it too. It's just a matter of like wait until you get to a point where you can just build extra. But that's also if you only can do like one square plot at a time. I can see that taking a long time though.
Yeah, like that's like one of the things from like I don't know how somehow we've managed to mention Viva Pinata 2 podcasts in a row,
Look at
but
that.
that was Viva Pinata had that where like as you progressed, you would be able to buy or get a larger plot for your pinata farm.
Yeah. So maybe, and who knows? Like, there's always gonna be like expansion packs and stuff for these kinds of games too, or add-ons. And maybe at some point they'll add on a whole thing where you can just build or get a second island or something, or just have like, oh hey, like Pangea the whole thing. Like you see like a second island just like crash right into it, or a very soft meteor just like lightly lands next to yours. So now you have extra plots to put stuff in. Who knows?
What would be really cool is if they introduced like the cooperative concept into the game, where almost instead of like a guild or like a something like that, you could have like a co-op with like up to x number of friends, to where you guys had a neutral island that you could all interact with.
Hmm.
Like you could like
That'd be
it's
nice.
basic. Yeah, it's one massive island where you can all do stuff. Like you still have your own island, but then you
Yeah.
have that secondary island where you can go, and it starts off, have, you got between the number of people, like say 5 people, right? You have 5 people who can sign off on the deed, and then those 5 people are like the executors of the little of that island, and that's how you have that, and you all get it, and it starts out at nothing, just like your initial island. Like you have to build the I guess a campsite, I think, is what you have to build to start with or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And then you just go, and then yeah, the 5 of you can work on it, and you can have regular visitors like normal. But I think that would be super fun, because that would be a neat way to add like that multiplayer component, and then
With the
get
last
a
year
little,
pack too.
yeah, because you get a little bit more than like, oh, okay, let me, because I mean, I know exactly what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna log in. I'm gonna go check out your island.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna go and check out Chuck's island. Who else? Jesus has an island. I'm trying to think who else I know. Probably some of the others, a couple streamers that I know who play it, like Frickin' Nick, and another guy found Alien X. I don't know, something, whatever. Another guy found, check out their islands, and then you go back to your island. Like it would be
Yeah.
cool to have like, okay, so I've kind of done what I feel like I can really do on my island right now. Let me see if I can go and get, work on the team island.
Yeah. That would be. I would like that one.
So I don't remember the name of the company who makes Animal Crossing, but if you're listening and you're not,
Yeah.
there's an idea for
You
you.
don't know that. This could be the one episode that just takes us into like Superstardom, where we start getting corporate sponsorships, and then all of a sudden we're going to be going to, I would say E3, but nope, there's no more E3's done for a little while.
You know, I would welcome that. I love working from home.
Yeah. Oh, someday, living the dream.
Right.
Uh, but
Someday.
yep. Tiger King. Let's talk about Tiger King. Have
Yeah.
you seen
Oh,
it yet?
yeah. I have. I've binge watched the entire season, and it was great.
Yeah? So what was your? I'll what is
This
your thought
this
on
was.
Carol Baskin? Did Carol do it? Did she feed her husband to the lions
I
and
don't
tigers?
know if I don't know. I feel like 100% she is not being genuinely honest
Mm-hmm.
about what she knows, but I don't know that I believe that she did it. Um, but yeah, I don't know. I think it's entirely possible and feasible. You know, there's people you have to assume in certain animals that people have, you know, there's always capability. Like you learn from the movie Snatch, like if someone has a pig farm, because a pig will eat anything, bones and all.
Right.
Like they're sitting there and he's like talking about how if a tiger eats a person, all you're gonna find left over is, you know, whatever. But that's more true of a pig than it is a big cat.
Yeah. Oh, I don't know.
But yeah,
It's an
I
entertaining show though
my
overall.
my I feel like my overwhelming thought about that show the entire time was like, this cannot be real.
Yeah.
Like
That's the whole
this
point.
is
Yeah.
so ridiculous. Like how can this be real?
Yeah. But at the same time, it's like I think I've interacted with enough people in my life where it's like, yeah, I kind of get it. I've interacted with folks who,
Well,
uh,
I'm from East Texas, so
right.
believing that some people like the characters in there exist, like yeah.
Yeah.
I found the only character that I really thought, and I say character, these are actual real life
Yeah.
human beings, like literally like Joe's in jail, you know. But I found like the person on there that I liked the most was the guy who was like the caretaker for the zoo or whatever. The dude, basically zoo octane, for lack of a better descriptor for him, since he has no legs, no feet.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so like I really liked him.
Yeah.
He, he
You
was
could tell
in
he was
very
there because
cool,
like he was down on his luck. He actually got an opportunity and he made the most of it as best he could, and he
and
realized he made
yeah,
mistakes.
he was like, you know, I want to be there for the animals,
Yeah.
you know,
Uh,
and that stuff is weird. You know, I have to say, and I guess after watching a show like that and stuff, I shouldn't be like proud to say that I've done it, but I have actually held a baby tiger.
is it as amazing as they make it seem like it is? Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yes and no. Um, it's I found it super intriguing, more so because it's, you know, an opportunity you would not normally get to have,
Mm.
you know, and and stuff. But yeah, it's pretty cool. Like even the small ones are big. Like this one, the one that I held was like 2 months old, and its paw is like, I mean, its paw is the size of like a Big Mac, like,
Oh,
but like Big Macs from when we were kids. So like they're much bigger.
like the good Big Macs, not this new bullshit.
Yeah, like it was wild. Like yeah, so yeah, after my parents got divorced, a woman over in East Texas that my dad was dating, her parents, they had a ranch kind of thing. Well, everybody owns land out in East Texas. I think calling them ranches is probably being generous, but they had some land and they had a dog. What's I can't remember what the big cat is. Is it a lion or a tiger that does like really really friendly with like a Labrador or whatever? Um,
Mm.
but yeah, certain big cats are actually very friendly with big dogs. It's the oddest thing.
Huh.
Um,
How
yeah,
bizarre.
so they had that, and then they had obviously an adult tiger, and then they had a baby tiger, and yeah, she was that woman's daughter was like a really good friend of mine for when we would go visit over there, and she had it out, and she was playing with it and everything, and she's like, you know, do I want to hold it? And I'm like, yeah, I want to
Mm.
hold a baby tiger. I was like 13.
Yeah.
It's like, oh yeah, hand me the. It's like Mandalorian. I would like to see the child. So yeah, I held a baby tiger. There's no photographic evidence or anything, and I don't know what their long-term plan with owning a tiger was, but yeah, I have I have held a baby tiger in my hands, and it's pretty cool.
Yeah. But it didn't turn into somebody who's like, I need to own one forever at some point.
No, if I was ever going to own a crazy ass exotic animal, it would be a red panda or a capybara or like a some sort of crocodilian.
Nice. Okay. Respect.
But probably just a red panda or a capybara. I don't know that Danielle would be down with me having something that could literally eat our child. So, and I've seen a baby capybara, and that is damn cute.
I'm actually having a look. I think I know what you're talking about when you say capybara.
Yeah, it's the world's giant rodent, the largest rodent in the world.
Yep. Okay, that's exactly what I was thinking of. Yeah, those things are kind of adorable.
They are totes adorbs.
Yeah.
But yeah, that or a red panda. If I was gonna have an exotic animal, the first one that comes to mind would probably be a red panda.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
Because they're so damn cute.
Really glad I googled that. Really glad.
That you googled what, red panda or capybara?
Capybaras.
Oh yeah, they're great too. You can Google pangolin. That's always fun.
Red pandas. I'm looking
Hmm.
at red pandas now too, and yeah, that's almost like that's some Tanuki shit right there.
That is exactly what they are.
Yep.
That is where the tanuki comes from, and then pangolins are where sand shrew comes from. And actually, some people think that pangolin might be the protein source that could have potentially led to the coronavirus.
Really?
So, yeah, it's I wouldn't put it past it because what were we watching? We were watching some nature documentary thing, and apparently the pangolin is like the most trafficked animal.
Really?
Yeah, because it's only a very specific. There's only X amount of them, and they're really only in two places. There's like a African one and like a South American one. But yeah, they're really really cool animals. Yeah, they're super cool.
Wow.
Yep, they look like an armadillo crossed with like a bear crossed with like a raccoon or something. I don't know. And plus, there's a great meme where it's like they always look like they're like some sad underling trying to impress their master because they kind of walk around on their back legs a little bit and they're like their front hands kind of, I mean, you can see in the picture, but they're kind of like this, and they always look like they're like, master, I'm sorry. So yeah, they're super cool.
Nice. I don't know if I because maybe it's the fact I've only had a dog my whole life. Like I can't think of like if I ever wanted like an exotic animal like as a pet kind of thing. Even like a cute one or something that's a lot easier to manage. But
Yeah, I've had dogs.
like
Let's see.
dogs?
I like dags. I like caravans more.
Yo, very welcome.
Let me see. Let's see. Dogs that I had a wolf hybrid at one point. So like it's basically like it looks like a husky, but it's not just a husky.
Yeah.
It's like a husky mixed with an actual wolf. So that was fun. And then I've had let's see. I had a ferret. I've had a pet snake.
You're the second person I know who's had a pet snake.
Hamsters. I loved it. My pet snake Josh was my buddy in high school.
Hmm.
Yep, I would take him out when I would get home from school. I would take him out because he would just be hanging out in his like little his glass container, his aquarium, basically all day. And I would put my arm in there. I would get him out, and then he would wrap himself around my arm, and then he would rest his head. I'm showing Chris in the camera, but you can't see. He would rest his head on like the web part between my thumb and my index finger,
Yeah.
and then I would just sit there playing video games or type on my computer or whatever, and he would just rest his head right there and just flitting his little tongue out.
Huh.
Yeah, it was a Mexican milk snake is what I had. He was about maybe 2 feet long at his longest, and then he's really no bigger than like a pinky finger. I mean, yeah, I'd say pinky finger. Milk snakes are not very big snakes in terms of girth.
And did you have to go buy like the frozen mice too to feed it?
No, I bought live mice. He did not do well with bigger ones, so I never got him ones that were too old because it also made me feel a little bit bad because I like all animals. So I got him. There's different variations of mice. There's pinkies, which are like the little baby ones, which are literally that they're pink. They have no fur. Their eyes aren't open or anything. And then there's fuzzies, which are the ones that are a little bit older that have started to develop a little like peach fuzz on them. And then there's the mice, which are like the mice is just, well, which mice do you want?
Yeah. Okay.
So, but yeah, It is. I mean, it was a little bit weird. Um, I always had this. I always had the same little routine. Anytime I was feeding him, like I'd always pet the mouse a little bit because you know, you wanted to feel some sort of comfort
Yeah.
before what's about to come. Like
Before the
it's weird.
abyss.
Yeah, it's weird. Like it's yeah. I think certain people can deal with having a pet snake, and certain people can't because unlike a lizard, like if you had a like say like a they're called a bearded dragon. I always think of them as horned frogs, even though I know they're not the same thing. But that's what I always envision in my head, having lived in Fort Worth with TCU. Um, you can feed those exclusively mealworms and crickets, and they'll be okay. A snake you can't feed insects. Snakes don't eat insects like that. That doesn't do well. It fucks up their digestive tract, and it's not ideal for them. So it's one of those things where like circle of life and stuff. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty much. I like how this podcast has very quickly devolved into not talking about games at all.
Like really think about the last like about 10 or so podcasts we've done. Like how often are video games and like legit geek stuff like the biggest part of our topics? Really. It ends up just being about shit we've done for the week.
Yeah.
Let's be like, I had a
like-
really good sandwich the other day. It's like, yeah, me too.
Hang on, let me look at my cliff notes here at Monday.
Yeah, it's like it had Japanese mayo, not regular mayo. It's a huge difference. Which apparently there is, like I shouldn't say apparently, there is totally a huge difference between American mayo and Japanese mayo. Japanese mayo's way better.
I've never heard of Japanese mayo. I
Right.
will take your word for it. And then let's see. I've been playing a lot of hockey out in the street, yelling
Yeah.
out "car." That's been a lot of fun. I've done a 5K every single day walking. I can't run a 5K again yet. I've done a 5K every day for the past like week and a half.
Nice, good for you.
hmm Yeah, that's what we do. And then I play video games at night. And my wife's like, "Oh, you've been staying up late sometimes." But then she's like, "Well, I guess it doesn't really matter because
Right.
there's nothing. I don't go to work.
Yeah.
Like if I stay up till midnight and then I sleep till like 7:38, it's like, well, okay, whatever.
Yeah, it's
Like I don't have to be at my office.
yeah.
You know?
America's closed right now,
Yeah.
and it sounds like it may be for a while too. Which, yeah, yeah.
My biggest thing about this, and the only thing I'm really bummed out, like I can live with all the sports being canceled and stuff. I'm just genuinely
Me
bummed
too.
out because yeah, we we currently have, and it's all still technically like have. It's not in the we had yet. We have a trip booked and everything set up to go back to San Diego this summer again, and it's technically a work trip for my wife, but
Oh, that's right.
my daughter and I, we were just going to go to Legoland for 2 days.
Yeah.
Spend a day or two at Legoland and spend a day or two at the San Diego Zoo.
Mm-hmm.
And the zoo, she loves the zoo. The San Diego Zoo is bonkers. It's huge. They have 1 million animals. They have a harpy eagle, which freaks Danielle out, which is hilarious.
A harpy eagle?
A harpy eagle is a bird that's about the size of the average adult person sitting down.
Wow.
And its face looks like somebody in a mask. It is
Like a harpy. Oh, wow.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so that is actually where it gets its name from.
Huh.
So it is it's definitely it is the uncanny valley bird is what it is. Like depending on how shallow or deep your uncanny valley is, depends a lot on how you interpret this bird. Which this can be our geek thing, for people who aren't aware of what the uncanny valley is.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure they listen to this podcast or Vidcast or whatever this is. Whatever this thing is that we're doing. They probably heard the Uncanny Valley. That's basically what Cats is.
Cats is the Uncanny Valley. It is the Uncanny Valley is the reason that zombie stuff is so effective. In addition to the aspect of providing a physical manifestation to the constant threat of death, because it's going to happen.
It is?
Yeah. Well, yeah, eventually.
Uh,
No, not zombies, but death.
yeah, that's what I mean. Yeah. What do you mean? I'm never going to die. I'm going to live forever. Right?
Okay.
Right?
I believe they settled that debate with a very long-lasting first-person shooter franchise in the 90s and early aughts, but okay.
Oh my god.
But
So you're saying like
bonus
zombies
points.
became popularity is because they don't fall within the uncanny valley?
No, it's zombies are interesting because they do fall in the uncanny valley. Like the unease about zombies rises from the uncanny valley. It's basically it's when looking at it from like the zombie perspective and things like that and creeping people out, it's in the same way as people who can look at inanimate objects and see faces. Like I am one of those people.
Yeah.
I see faces in like all sorts of like toasters and shit. um, it basically springs from how comfortable your mind is at processing things as human or not human, and depending on where they sit and how closely they blend, your brain basically, and Chris can see this because I'm making a little like valley with my finger, the the closer they are to like the flat line, that is definitely human, and then the
Mhm.
very bottom is definitely not human.
Yeah.
The things that are creepy are the things that are falling on like, if I'm saying this correctly from like the actual, there's actually a scientific theory for this.
Yeah.
I think it's the things on the going down or on the going up. It's the ones things that are creepy. So like certain CGI things like Clue from Tron, which is Jeff
Yeah.
Bridges' character when he's younger. That is a really good example of uncanny valley. I don't have too shallow of an uncanny valley. My wife has like an uncanny like dip. Like everything weirds her out
Mm.
in terms of that stuff. Like for her, it's like nope.
Yeah. That's just
Like
it.
unless it's like literally not human, like a dragon. She's like, mm-mm, nah.
Yeah. And
Like zombies, nope. Fish people, nope.
yeah.
But yeah, it's that yeah, the uncanny. Where did we get to this? I'm like all of a sudden I said uncanny valley, and now I'm forgetting what started it to try and tie it back to the conversation.
Oh, because of the harpies.
Oh right, yeah. So yeah, that's that. Yeah, the harpy eagle does that because its face looks very humanoid. It's the reason some people can't really look. Like you ever look at like certain primates like at their face for a while, it starts to get creepy the longer you stare at them and the longer they stare at you, because it's like, do they understand me?
Right.
Do
Are
do
you
they
me?
know?
Yeah.
Yeah, do they know that we are like close?
Yeah.
You know, that kind of thing stuff. But yeah, it's a very very interesting part of science, and I got really really interested in the uncanny valley um, in college when like The Walking Dead had came out, and like I was like super into like not so much specifically zombies, but some of the that kind of stuff, like the psychology of like unease, of discomfort, of like what is human and what is not. So things like the AI and stuff like that.
Makes sense. I can definitely see where the interest in that can lie, because you can kind of go down that rabbit hole either way of like, especially like robotics and all that stuff, and artificial intelligence of at some point Skynet, and you can get that. Or if you start thinking about like the idea of the uncanny valley in terms of like zombies and all that stuff too, is like, yeah, it's just maybe in a couple
Hmm.
hundred years we could probably do it. We're probably gonna be like, hey, we came up with this fucking like really cool like skin moisturizer, and like, oh, by the way, it's also like the T virus, and we get Resident Evil.
Hmm.
Could be. It could be
I,
that. It's a
I would
stretch.
say I would say it would be possible to have a inadvertent zombie thing sooner than 100 to 200 years, because I think that would be more of an accidental thing.
Yeah.
Because I forget in Resident Evil, was the T virus started as a weaponization, or was it started? It was started as a way to like save like his kid, wasn't it,
In the
or
movies,
something?
yeah, the
In
movie is
I'm
designed
trying to
to
remember.
be like a cure or something like that. But then, like in the game series, though, this was intended to be like a bioweapon.
Okay, yeah. So like my theory, it wouldn't be a bioweapon. My theory is it would be an accidental scientific discovery in terms of trying to make it like a medicinal cure for something else. Be like, oh shit,
Yeah,
now you've created this thing where, oh, they didn't die, but oh wait.
yeah, yeah. That's
But
probably how it's
yep,
gonna play out.
yeah.
That's gonna be
And in
Resident Evil
terms
Eight.
of yeah, in Resident Evil 8, and in terms of like the Uncanny Valley stuff, what's great is that Westworld 3 is out,
Good
which
transition.
yeah, and the last week's episode was was awesome. There was a big like informational, like not so much cliffhanger, but just like what they
It was
just
like
threw out.
the master plan or something like that, right?
It wasn't so much the master plan. I don't want to give anything away because Westworld is very quickly become like my favorite like TV series of all time. Um, and but it's really really cool. Like I've gotten pretty good at figuring out like what's coming up in like shows and things and picking up on like the surprise. Like in Harry Potter, I realized, oh, that's Harry who was the one doing the Patronus, because I finally started watching Harry Potter
Yeah.
for the first time ever. And
Really?
I've never seen it. I read one of the books, saw the first movie, and that was it.
Yeah, they're fine. It's
They're
fine.
good.
It's
I
fine.
enjoy it. It's nice watching them now
Yeah.
after all the hype about everything is gone. You know, um, I felt bad for Robert Pattinson dying.
Yeah.
Cedric Diggory didn't deserve that.
Yeah.
Um, but
He's fine though. He
yeah,
comes back as a vampire. It's cool. And now he's
yeah,
Batman.
exactly. He's good.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I love Westworld, and like the surprise thing they had from last week's episode was so good, because it was like you knew that it was like, okay, this is somebody, like who is this, and then when they reveal who, it's like, oh, did not see that one coming.
It's like Anthony Hopkins is back as Jeremy Irons from Watchmen. It's all connected. And then Johnny Drama just shows up.
There you go.
That's the twist nobody expected.
Dun dun dun.
Yeah. I just spoiled it. I just spoiled season 3 of Westworld for everybody.
Yeah, it turns out Westworld is actually just Game of Thrones was actually just part of Westworld.
Yep. Which all in of itself was just a movie that Vincent was just doing from Entourage, and the turtle just shows up too. Doing nothing.
The turtle.
Yeah. Did you ever see
Oh, was that
Entourage? That was his name.
no?
The turtle.
Okay. I thought you were referring to like the turtle from like it, or from like the Stephen King mythos.
Oh damn! Like that would have been weird.
I was
That
like,
would.
oh, okay.
Yeah, we can just go. We can just totally just Dark Tower the whole thing. It's all everything's connected inside Stephen King's head.
Yep. He has a new novel that I just purchased on Kindle called like well, it's not new. It came out last year, but it's like the Institution or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
It's like supernatural kids who get like kidnapped or whatever and put on essentially a train. I don't know.
Yeah.
Seemed cool. I like Stephen King, so
Yeah. Did you? Speaking of Stephen King, I was gonna ask you about this too. Since did you ever see what was it called, Doctor Sleep?
I did not see Doctor Sleep. I did, however, watch all of the Outsider TV series for HBO, and it was very, very good. It diverged from the book a great deal, which, if you're a super asinine fan of things, that would probably piss you off. But obviously, being HBO and wanting to get money for things, they have set themselves up to where they can continue the storyline. So, yeah,
Okay.
that works out fine with me. Like, I don't need there to be another book, but if I can keep the story going in some other capacity, all the better.
Nice.
So yeah, but I have not seen Doctor Sleep. I really, really wanted to. It was one of only like 5 or 6 movies I really, really wanted to see last year, and I saw. Well, we saw it. We saw it together. We
Yeah.
went on our date.
We did. Had
That
good
was
burgers.
your going away date.
Yeah.
Fuck, that burger was so good.
It was a good burger. But yeah, the reason I bring up Doctor Sleep, like I was flipping through YouTube. Which, side note, I've gotten really into watching really long, detailed video essays on films, like on film styles and film editing. And there's this one YouTuber named Lindsay Ellis who does these really, really cool, really in depth, really insightful video essays. And just kind of breaking down films to their course, and even brings up some interesting points. Like she did a whole video series on the Transformers films, and kind of showing like they are, if you look at it in the right way and you take away like just the stigma of it being a Michael Bay piece of shit film series, it does raise some really interesting questions, and like really kind of gives you a bit more appreciation for Megan Fox's character from the first, especially in the first film, and almost kind of makes Megan Fox the person a bit more sympathetic because of just how the character was portrayed. Like she was intended to be played off as like a sex symbol because of the way the character was shot. But if you
Yeah.
actually look at the story, though, like she brings up a really good point. Like in the first Transformers film, she's introduced as obviously the femme fatale kind of character. Um, but she also knows her way around a car. She's self sufficient. She's intelligent, um, and she has
Oh
a
yeah.
much more complete story arc because in the beginning of the film, when she's dating the first dipshit loser guy, like she asks to drive the car, and the boyfriend just kind of brushes her off, saying like, "Oh, why don't you just be a little like bunny or whatever." So it's just like her internal struggle is because of her physical appearance, because she's hot, that no one's gonna take her seriously as a mechanic. But then by the end of the film, she uses her car skills in the big battle at the end to demonstrate her own value, which kind of does complete her arc much better than Shia LaBeouf's character, who's just sort of there.
Yeah, I
Which I think that's insightful. That's a really insightful way of looking at what's kind of just looked at as trash.
I like that. I would definitely watch something like that. I like thinking because that sounds like right up my alley.
Yeah,
That's the overthinking thought process there, and I can get in on that. You know I can get in on that.
yeah. Now the
Um,
crazy part though, real quick, is she ended up also doing partnering with somebody else and did a like 20-minute deep dive analysis into Freddy Got Fingered,
hmm.
Tom Green's bullshit movie that he did,
Yes, I could see how that.
and actually makes a very valid point that it's designed to be intentionally be an anti-comedy. Like it's meant to go in exact opposition of everything of like those comedies at the time of like where you're like the adult loser guy who's creative but like his parents don't understand, and it's him just trying to demonstrate his value through his art and win the respect of his parents, but just done in every opposite way possible and intentionally not. And like the film itself to me is not funny, but that was also his point.
I've
And
always wondered, is Tom Green a genius?
that's kind of the argument that they're making, is that it's kind of an accidental genius film, and it's designed to be shocking and stupid on purpose. Like scenes that are absolute nonsense is designed for. And if you look at it from that perspective, then yes, he is. He's brilliant because he basically it's a giant practical joke on the whole world because a movie studio gave him $15 million to make a dumb fucking film that's designed to be intentionally awkward, gross, and sick as a commentary on comedies itself that play it much safer.
Yeah, I remember his show, the Tom Green Show. I loved that when I was a kid, but
I
that's
did
because it
too.
was like all like toilet humor kind of crap.
Right. And so then what happens when you give the guy the toilet humor and you give him money thinking that he's going to make you $1 billion? It's like, no, you're not. You gave $15 million to Tom Green. You're going to lose $17 million somehow. Like you're not getting any of that fucking money back. Cause like that makes a lot of sense. Now it's also
See
could be
now,
just pure coincidence, but who knows?
See, now you said Fury, so now or now you said Shia LaBeouf, so now I'm thinking about Fury because to me that is Shia LaBeouf's best movie and
Yeah.
probably one of the best movies ever made about World War II.
Yeah, I really liked Fear. And actually, if you want to see something really interesting with Shia LaBeouf, is watch his Hot Ones interview while he's eating the spicy chicken wings. Like he is
Fuck.
way more insightful, like and way more intelligent, more put together than I really gave him a lot of credit for.
I
Um,
watched the movie he wrote that was on Amazon, the one
Peanut Butter Falcon
uh,
or the other one.
no, something baby or something like that. It's basically a one where he plays his dad.
Yeah, I heard that
It's
was really good.
it's a I don't know if it's I don't know if I would say it's really really good, but it was an interesting movie to watch like as a parent and like as someone who like has kind of a weird relationship with their own dad. Like it was an interesting movie like from a lot of like ways, but it was yeah, it was great. Like I don't know. I think in a lot of ways, Shia LaBeouf he's one of those people who gets a lot of shit. But like, and some of it's deserved, but some of it is like, he's gone through so much. Like, I mean, I remember him from Even Stevens and stuff like that, and I loved him in there. But that's because I was like 10, and that was the whole point.
Right.
So like, yeah, like the things that he's been involved in and done, and like, you know, he's had a very different life than
Yeah.
anyone else can really sympathize with. Like, yeah, there are plenty of people who might have had like, drug issues or stuff like that as a child, but they weren't also
Well,
famous at the same time.
one of
Or
the biggest stars.
there's famous people who have had drug issues and stuff, but they weren't a child at the time. Like it's interesting.
Yeah.
And yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, no, it's good. But anyway,
I
the
mean,
reason I brought all of that shit was I saw on YouTube because like they're starting to like promote the stuff you can get on Google Play for the movies, and they just released a director's cut of Doctor Sleep.
ooh,
It's 3 hours long. It's a Hobbit length.
oh, yes. I'll
Yeah,
have to watch that.
yeah,
I got nothing else to do.
yeah,
I started watching The Expanse. I'm that bored.
yeah. And they also just released today too, which I say I'm contemplating pick up. The only reason I'm not going to pick it up right now is because again, Final Fantasy VII comes out tomorrow, and that's going to take over my life for the next few days.
Except for
Is
when you're playing Switch with me.
except when I'm playing Switch with you, correct? Is Ip Man 4, the final chapter, also came out today too on digital, and I love the Ip Man films. I'm a huge Donnie Yen fan in general, and the fact that he made another Ip Man film for me is super exciting.
I think I've only seen the first one.
Yeah, I think in terms of the fight scenes to me, I think always stay on par of still being excellent. I still think the first one has the best ones, but I think the quality of the story does dip throughout the whole thing because I think they kind of I think had lightning in a bottle with the first film, and then they just try to go through the next like by part 3 he's fighting Mike Tyson.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We went through, oh man, I don't know, like a 6 month period like 5 years ago where we were watching nothing but like Hong Kong movies. Like it started out because like every so often, like I just have to watch, like for some reason I just go into this phase where it's like, okay, over the span of the next month I need to watch Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon, House of Flying Daggers, and like Hero, because those are like to me like the holy trinity of those movies. And then we spiraled. We watched so many. Like it was like, you know how like, hey, you watch this, maybe you'd like this, and I'm like, click, done. Like there's a really really good one, and Jet Li is listed as like one of the main build characters because he's the biggest named actor, but his character role is not as large in the movie, but it's called Warlords, and it's really good.
Mm.
Like, and it's a Chinese, it's a Hong Kong action flick, and it's amazing. Some of them are really really good. Some of them are really really shitty, but I mean it's the same as, you know, stuff over here.
Yeah.
You know.
Like I remember this a few years ago. Like people were like losing their shit over a movie called Ninja Assassin.
Oh yeah, I remember that. It came out,
and it sucked. It was terrible. That was a terrible film. It had no.
It was a video. It was a video game movie.
Yeah.
Ninja Assassin was a light gun arcade game.
Oh my god.
Mm-hmm.
I
I've had played it before.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, unless it was just a sheer coincidence that you know, you had like a gunplay and ninja thing in the movie that also, you know, happened to be similar to an arcade game. But yeah, that is I remember playing the Ninja Assassin arcade game.
Huh.
Mm-hmm.
Holy damn. Damn. Ninja Assassin game. Yep, there it is. Son of a bitch.
Yep, my useless knowledge doesn't come in handy often, but when it does, it does, I guess.
Well,
when it does.
Yeah. Well, I think on that note. Sean, where can we find you on the interwebs?
You can find me at Sean Does Stuff on Twitter and Instagram. Sean with a U. Twitch is COG_Sean. And then I need to update it because I haven't done anything on it for a while, but I do actually have my own blog/website, which is just SeanDoesStuff.com.
Nice.
And that's where you can find me.
Nice. And of course, all of my links are in the description down below. Thank you also very much for listening. For Circle of Geekdom Podcast Vidcast, I'm Chris.
I'm Sean.
Thank you all so very much for listening. We'll catch you all next time.